Hello and welcome back, and boo! I mean Bioware, because you know we love Bioware. Anyway, this is going to be sort of like a first impressions take on Anthem, because the internet is riddled with them at the moment and I feel left out. So yeah, strap in people. First thing I noticed about this game, which I absolutely loved, is it has a colorblind filter for us colorblindies, which, you know, was really nice. Now normally I would put it on blue yellow because that's my particular brand of colorblindness, but that would make it near enough unwatchable for you normal people. How dare you be normal? So yeah, this is Anthem. Let's have a look at it. Now, one of the first things I noticed about this, and I recorded about an hour and a half worth of footage. After cutting out the load screens, I was left with 51 minutes worth of footage. So for a PC game, and one of the things that PC likes to boast is cut down on load screens and load times and whatnot. Load times and load screens are absolutely galore, especially for a game that boasts being open world. There are several times where you load into a tube, like an absolutely tiny little tube, and then you walk around this tube. It's a really small area, like the one we're going to come up with here. This was a load screen, prepare for editing. Ta-da! This honestly had to be loaded in. This area here. Look at it. It's tiny. This is it. End of area.
Can't get further in.
That had to be loaded in. What the hell? When you eventually come back to this place, there is a bit more, but why that has to be loaded in for this particular instance, I have no idea. It really irritated me. There are so many load screens, they take absolutely ever. It was really irritating. Now, as you can tell as well, the gameplay is not that great because I did that typical man thing of not reading the tutorials, because tutorials, who needs tutorials? So I've just jumped straight in and tried to figure it all out, and the flight controls are really weird. I don't enjoy them. I'm getting there. One thing I need to point out is I came here from Warframe, so I'm used to everything being a nice smooth flowing transition between all your movements and everything you do. Anthem, not so much. I'm not going to say it's a bad thing, but everything's a bit more clunky and abrupt and very jolted, which makes sense because you are in an Iron Man suit, which is quite nice, but also if you are coming to Anthem from Warframe, it's a bit frigging weird. Next down point, and this is actually a serious one, there have been many comments about just how weird and buggy and just freaky this game can be. Well, this is one of them. I have no idea what's going on here, apart from the fact that I literally do not have a head. My controls are unresponsive. I try and run forward and my character starts, I don't know, moonwalking in a way that Michael Jackson would probably have a heart attack. Yeah, bugs are still present. This game is a demo, apparently, although I suppose it's supposed to be coming out in like 3 weeks. So yeah, if this continues to happen, yeah, you're not getting my money. And what is this? It's jolty, it's disgusting, it's buggy, frame rate drops, everything. It's just, I have no idea what was going on. This genuinely upset me because it didn't just happen the once, this happened several times, to a point of where I actually rage quit because I started doing the dungeons or the raids or whatever it's called, because I completed the mission that the demo, the open beta demo, or the whatever it's called, they're calling it, their mess, gives you. I completed the mission, unlocked a new javelin, and started doing the raids, and every time I went into a raid I literally got hit by, you have no head, your controls are mental, the frame rate hits the floor. It was just horrible. And it's not like I don't have a decent PC either. My PC is actually pretty darn good. Graphically though, this game is outstanding. Absolutely loved it. Can't comment on the story, really can't. no idea what's going on. At one point, some guy called Matthias gets himself split into 3 due to some reality warping construct that they have the bright idea of tinkering around with. I've heard a lot of people compare this game to Destiny. I've not actually gotten around to playing Destiny yet. From what I can tell of what I have seen, it's like a weird mix of Monster Hunter World and Warframe. They are probably the 2 closest games that I will put into it. Stylization wise, movement wise, mechanic wise, it seems to be very Warframe-ish. And then level wise, you have sort of like your standard quest, as it were. You've got to fight your way to do certain things, and at the end you get a very, very large boss which is capable of just completely one-shotting you, but you're going to have to put a couple 100,000 worth of damage into him to bring him down. This is where I'm taking the Monster Hunter part, basically. Another game I could probably attribute this to in the way it works mechanically as well as like loot wise would be Diablo. You're basically grinding levels, clear out the level, you get one big boss at the end, kill the boss and he drops loot, and you're going to do this on repeat over and over and over and over again to get better gear so that you're able to take it up a level or up a tier, however they're calling it, so that you're then able to get better and better loot. And this is from the type of game these typically are. That's the end game. You're going to do the same things on repeat to get better gear, so you can go up a level to get better gear, so you can go up another level to get better gear. Which, for me personally, where I play things like Warframe, Diablo, Monster Hunter, grinding out to get better gear just so that I can go at a higher level or maybe just do it quicker, you know, I'm all for that. I really, really enjoy that sort of game, which is why I'm having a look at Anthem in the first place. This is definitely the sort of game that I would enjoy. Downside being, yeah, they are not in the best standing with the gamer community at the moment. And one thing I really, really did enjoy is when I downloaded the Origin launcher to install this demo. It's a demo that is 43 gigabytes, by the way. 43 fucking gig for a demo to load in one mission and a very small portion of what seems to be the map, and so many load screens that you'd probably want to beat yourself to death with a tea cozy, which would be an impressive feat all by itself. Yeah, 43 gig for that. But anyway, when I actually installed the Origin launcher, it came up with a nice little prompt saying, how likely would I be to recommend Origin or whatever to friends or family? Yeah, click 0 for a start, and in that nice little message box below that says explain your reasoning, I couldn't help myself. I did type that I am a gamer, EA is not gamer friendly, and Anthem is your last chance, don't fuck it up. Yeah, probably a little bit too mean about this, but I am not an EA fanboy. I'm pretty sure about 90% of the gamer community isn't either, but still, what can I say? I am a sour Dod. Anyway, on with actually what this game feels like. When it works, it does actually work beautifully. I'm not too good at the game yet, that's why I keep getting critical failures. I need to figure that out. One thing that I don't like about it is you can shoot a monster in the face as much as you want. You don't really get a chance to stun them or knock them back or have any form of CC effect on them whatsoever. However, whenever you get poked, you get knocked back, and like pretty much everything on the map then goes, oh, he's been knocked back, and they all turn around and zap you and you're dead pretty darn quick. This could be just me being overly picky with a new game or being a bit biased towards EA, but there have been many times where I'm just flying around trying to get to the objective, and then I just hear beep beep beep, and then I blow up and die out of nowhere. I get a little thing comes up on the screen saying evade, but by the time I've read evade and then when I get nuked, there's like half a second. I kind of feel like there needs to be sort of like a mini map and show enemies that are alerted to your presence or something. It seems a bit weird into how sometimes that I just spontaneously combust. I don't know if others have had this issue. literally just out of nowhere. It doesn't seem to be on too high a difficulty. I've put it on medium or normal. But the screw you moments you are dead do seem to be very, very real. Now, once you do sort of start getting into the swing of things, the game itself does handle itself very, very well. It's quite fun to play. Genuinely started to think I need to drop a little bit of the old money for it to at least enjoy it a bit more, actually play through the storyline, play it a bit more to fruition, I suppose you could say. Once I've unlocked the second javelin, I did pick Storm. See, originally I was going to go with Colossus because I know I'll pretty much enjoy playing as a tank, because I quite like playing as tanks in these styles of games. Don't typically play things like the glass cannons or the mage styled ones, which is what Storm would appear to be. But I thought if I could enjoy Storm and get along with Storm, then this game would certainly win me over a little bit. So I kind of went with Storm just to see if that would sway me, that being the final sort of test. Now, as you can see here in this particular part of the gameplay, I'm fighting this guy, but I am getting pounded by something over towards my left. Now, I have no indication as what that actually is. It just tells me that I'm getting hit by something from the left, but I can't actually determine where that is, because there's no map or form of marker system. Now, if you highlight things that are directly in your field of view, they do get like a little red dot over them, but this I don't really find particularly helpful in any way, shape or form, because it's not really a very well highlighted marker. Some of the easiest things to see in this game are the turrets, but there are also some of the things that you kind of want to stay clear of, because they can hit very hard. And I also have had issues of being hit through literally solid objects, which is a bit annoying, particularly with the snipers. I'm not sure if that's actually an intended feature, but I'll poke out, give it a few shots, hide back behind a rock, and next thing you know, I'm getting shot through the ground, 3 rocks and a tree, and it's this sort of a bit confusing as to what is actually going on. Again though, this wasn't sort of like a individual circumstance, it wasn't just one single instance. This was something that appeared to be occurring on repeat, particularly with I don't know what they're called. They appeared to be some form of sniper. You sort of saw like a trace energy laser make contact, or at least guide its way onto you, and then after a good 2-second delay, roughly, it would then fire, doing a high amount of damage. During this time period, the delay, I would typically then hide behind a rock, but no matter where I hid or how I hid or how far away I was, the moment they shot, I would get hit. I did originally think at first this could be some sort of homing missile that's making its way around the rock or the trees and whatnot, but I did at one point actually give it a nice little test and tilted my camera just enough around so that I could see if what the shot actually was, and it did appear to be some form of blue-ish pink phaser shot that was literally heading in a straight line from the enemy to me, through the ground, 2 rocks and a tree, and it still made contact. And I think at one point in the end it did eventually kill me due to my bewilderment of how it's hitting me, making sure it was that was hitting me, because there were no other enemies around. I put the server on private, or the game on private, and it was just that one enemy left. So yeah, this for me is a definite needs fix, because it just literally doesn't make sense, particularly due to the way in which you're able to get completely fragged in an instant in this game. The having enemies that can now shoot through walls is a bit iffy. Now, one thing that has definitely been mentioned on repeat, and I do agree with this, especially when utilizing your primary or secondary weapons, the majority of the enemies are absolute bullet sponges. You really do need to utilize your skills, your Q, E, Z and X, which for me personally are mapped at default in really bloody stupid places. whatever happened to 1, 2, 3, 4? Like, seriously. Yeah, there's so much going on in this game. Having to fumble around with random keys in random jolted positions is just absolute nightmare. Like when you go into a menu to scroll left and right on the menu, you're using Y and U. That's Yankee and uniform. Like why are they there? What's wrong with just Q and E again? Or left and right, or left button, right mouse button. There are so many different ways in which you could do this. It's almost like they've done a Capcom in Monster Hunter well. They've literally just decided to go, what's the most random usage of keys that we could utilise to make this gameplay horrible? And they've just thrown things out there. Now, I'm aware it seems like I'm probably jumping on the bandwagon of EA is terrible, they've made a crap game. Honestly, this game is not bad. It looks beautiful. When it decides to play well, it plays very, very well. Honestly, it plays so amazing. It really, really does. Mechanically, it's really good. It's fun. I like the concept of the overall sort of end game and the play style of it all. This game really does sort of suit me down to the ground. I'm really, really enjoying just monging it out in this demo and just shooting things and hopefully having it work. It kind of almost makes those load screens worth it. Not really. But it's definitely a fun game, and I would say if you haven't tried the demo, do try it, but at the time of this going up, the demo is over. I've just had to try and spam out as much recording as possible just to get it up as soon as possible. Now, like most, I have come across the image as well as the videos stating that some of the cosmetics are going to cost you $20 odd, or well, for me that'd be about 15-16 pounds, I think, roughly. Not sure on how the conversion is going to work in this game. Hopefully it will be better than some other games that like to give huge discounts to other countries due to the conversion rates. If not, I'm just going to change my IP to Russian again. Cheers, EA. But yeah, I have come across these images, and yeah, you can argue that's a bit of a shoddy business practice, especially due to the price of this game at base or even the pre-order, although how we haven't learned our lessons about pre-ordering games yet. I don't know if you have pre-ordered this game and you're whining about it, you only have yourself to blame. I'm going to put that one straight out there because I don't care. So, generally speaking, the reason I don't care is because they have stated, as well as in the imagery, you can purchase these items through in-game grinding as well, and I honestly do not mind grinding. I really couldn't care if that takes me over an hour to get one of these coins and it requires 50,000 coins. I don't mind that. I really don't. I'll just have to find a way in which I am able to get coins more effectively and quicker, and that is how I will justify playing this game hours on end if I eventually do decide to play it. So in general, do I recommend this game? Yes and no. If you are a fan of Warframe, Monster Hunter, Destiny or Diablo, games where you really, really do need to grind just so you can better yourself, just so you can basically do the exact same stuff on repeat, whether you want to do it quicker, more comfortable, or just generally at a higher difficulty, just to start the grind all over again. I can see Anthem being a very good front runner in that style of game genre, particularly just because it looks so absolutely gorgeous. It really does look stunning. It doesn't really put much of a strain on my CPU, GPU or any of my drivers, so it does kind of come across as quite well optimized, but I do still think there are issues they need to work on. Some of the enemies, like I said, are complete bullet sponges. The load screens are a complete joke, and there are still a few buggy mishaps going on, such as being shot through walls, mountains, rocks, trees. Spontaneously combusting out of nowhere is a real issue, and then spawning into the game with no head and all of your controls being some weird bugged up mess where you get to run backwards. There are issues. I would like to put this down to just being in a demo phase, but then, as others have rightly pointed out, why call it a demo? Because that makes it sound like it's just a fragment of a finished product, rather than calling it a beta, which is basically going to say there are still going to be issues. We want people to play it, point out these issues, and then we can fix them. Do I feel this game is ready for release in about 3 weeks? No, I do not. Maybe in about another 2 months. I do feel it would be more better suited to be released around then. But overall, I am genuinely actually enjoying this game when it decides to work. The majority of the time it is a load screen. Honestly, it's load screen simulator. And I think one of the favourite comments I've ever seen on a video for Anthem is 10 out of 10 would disconnect again. I still am having, as many people have stated, it's been fixed, as well as EA stating it has been fixed. I still do randomly get disconnected, particularly during load screens. It doesn't tend to happen during actual gameplay. I'll just be in a load screen waiting for the next area and it will just tell me that I have disconnected. I don't know whether this is a host issue, whether one of the players in the squad I'm in is acting as a host for the session or the instance and they turn their computer off, or something happens, or a ping issue and the game just quits on it. I don't know. Or whether it is just still there are disconnect server issues because EA didn't quite go 1,000 people have pre-ordered the game and they're going to be in the demo. Let's at least make sure the servers can handle 1,000 people. I don't know why I'm saying 1,000. It's just a number that I have come up with, when quite clearly in the VIP demo it was barely capable of handling 10. So there are certainly still issues. I am probably going to wait until the game settles a little bit before I purchase it. I do think I probably will end up purchasing it, but like I said, I'm going to wait for the game to settle, maybe drop in price a little bit. I do not feel it is worth its current price tag, especially when its closest competitors are Destiny, which has recently been put on a free release, and all you've got to do is buy the DLC. You've also got Warframe, which is a free-to-play game anyway. I don't really feel it's going to compete with Warframe whatsoever. I think the only thing that's going to make this game remotely competitive for a start is it's brand new and it's shiny and it looks amazing. In comparison to how Destiny 2 and Warframe are going to be up at that point, I don't feel it will complete in the long run. Another game that I compared it to was Diablo 3, although Blizzard are in a little bit of up in arms at the moment. Still, Diablo 3, it's like $20. That's a third of the price. And as well as Monster Hunter World, similar sort of price tag, but I mean, I won't lie, I've sunk about 1,200 hours into that game already. I've been a long time Monster Hunter fan, and I really, really do thoroughly enjoy the game and the grind, and you do really get a sense of achievement from it. I cannot state as to whether you'll get that similar sort of feeling from Anthem, just because the game, the demo at the moment, doesn't allow you to go that far in depth. One thing I would state the game definitely needs more classes. At the moment you have the Interceptor, the Storm, Colossus and Ranger, which is your Billy basic. Interceptor is sort of like a melee ninja class. Storm is sort of like your glass cannon mage. Colossus is obviously your tank. And Ranger is sort of like a balanced jack of all trade, master of none. I wouldn't mind seeing like a support class in there somehow. That could be useful. Anyway, that's me. Thank you very much, and I hope to see you guys pretty darn soon. Good luck, have fun, and don't die. Ta-ra!